26 on Twitter to keep informed with the latest happening near you.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, first at 5.
From heart attacks to armed robberies, the unexpected can and has happened on the North Augusta Greenway. Now they're taking some steps to try to make sure you're not caught in the woods with no way to ask for help. But first, gun violence across America spiked in 2020. Unfortunately, it's showing no sign of slowing down so far in 2021. We're coming off a really violent weekend all across the country. Gun violence claiming 139 lives since Friday. That includes mass shootings in Austin, Texas, Chicago, Cleveland, and right down the road in Savannah. Bradley Blackburn reports the lifting of COVID restrictions and the warmer weather has some fearful of a violent summer ahead.
A deadly weekend of gun violence. In Austin, Texas, shots rang out early Saturday morning on a street filled with bars and restaurants, killing 25-year-old Doug Cantor and wounding more than a dozen others.
Almost all of those victims are innocent bystanders.
In Savannah, Georgia, a gunman outside an apartment complex killed one person and wounded 7 others, including a toddler.
We got to try to find a way to make some kind of sense out of it, because this is senseless.
More shootings in Chicago and Cleveland in what could be a trend heading into the summer. The Gun Violence Archive counts at least 272 mass shootings in the U.S. so far this year. That's defined as incidents with 4 or more people shot and more than 8,900 gun deaths. The group says mass shootings spiked to 610 in 2020, more than the previous 6 years tracked.
I'm concerned about the trends we're seeing.
Warren Eller is an associate professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. He says the pandemic is an enormous factor.
It creates layers and layers of stress, which bring out layers and layers of behaviors that we wouldn't see under less stressful times.
And as more people return to public spaces, they bring that stress with them, a potential root cause of violence that is hard to address.
I think that the question we should be asking is why, not how. We're still not doing anything to change those drivers, to change that behavior.
Leaving communities across the country to deal with pandemic-fueled violence with no easy cure. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Coming up in the next half hour, our local gun violence numbers are up too. We're on your side following up on some of those most recent cases. First at 4, we are learning former NSA contractor and whistleblower reality winner is out of federal prison. The former Air Force linguist has been behind bars since 2017 for leaking a classified intelligence report about Russian interference in the 2016 election. That happened while she was working here in Augusta with top secret clearance as a government contractor. She pleaded guilty in 2018. She was sentenced to just over 5 years. But her lawyer announcing winner's early release today, saying her release is not a product of the pardon or compassionate release process, but rather the time earned from exemplary behavior while incarcerated. Now, Winner is currently not allowed to make any public statements or appearances. She's transitioning from a federal prison near Dallas to a halfway house in San Antonio. Taking a look outside this afternoon, some cloud cover, a pretty muggy day out there as we look out over Wheeler Road. Riley?
Definitely very muggy again this afternoon as we stay up ahead of this cold front that will finally drop south of us by tomorrow and drop that humidity for us. Much better feeling air as we head later into the week. But we are keeping an eye on a few thunderstorms forming up ahead of this cold front. Actually, a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued east of Atlanta for portions of Gwinnett County, Walton, and Rockdale County as well, for the potential of up to half-dollar-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Much less threatening storms north of us that are trying to head our way. That storm that is currently severe should not affect us here in the CSRA. Light rain to moderate to heavy rainfall is trying to push south towards us. So our northern counties will see the potential for rain first. Us here in Augusta, we're most likely have to wait until around sunset. And that is if these showers and storms hold together. I think this model may be overdoing it just a tad. So not guaranteeing rain for everybody, and everybody should be dry after midnight. Now, as we head later into the week, we're going to be dropping the humidity, storm chances going down as well. We'll have a look at that full forecast in just about 10 minutes.
Even a place that feels as safe as the Greenway comes with some risks. In February, authorities responded to what they called an extremely rare armed robbery. And last year, a man had a heart attack on the trail, and his friend saved his life with CPR. But if you've been out to the Greenway lately, you might have noticed something a little bit different. Our Celeste Springer shows us some new location markers that are meant to help make sure help can find you easily in case of an emergency.
When you're out on the Greenway, you're probably looking straight ahead at the greenery all around you, or maybe even a bicyclist coming up fast on your left. But there's something new on the Greenway that is life-saving, and all you have to do to find it is look down. New location markers spot the middle of the greenway. At every 1/10 of a mile, you'll find one with a specific letter and number. If there's an emergency you run into, providing these to 911 could get first responders out to you faster than ever. The North Augusta Parks and Rec Department says they've been lucky in the past. Victims of robberies and medical emergencies made it out okay, but they're trying to take more of a proactive approach, as they've noticed a lot of people forget where they are during an emergency.
Look for them on the center, and they're not so big and bold that they make the greenway look horrible, but they're there. So if someone goes down with an accident, someone has an injury, or as we have had in the last 2 years, heart attack or stroke on the greenway.
And coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll hear from people out on the greenway about their thoughts on the new safety measure. In North Augusta, Celeste Springer on your side.
Vice President Kamala Harris. It's all part of the president's 8-day trip through Europe. On Wednesday, he meets with Russia's President Vladimir Putin. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office asking for your help finding the person who set fire to a sports bar. This is a photo from the scene of the Icon Sports Bar on North Lake Road. This happened back on May 21st, and the Sheriff's Office believes Tavares Young is the one responsible. So if you have any information, call the number on your screen. Soldiers at Fort Gordon up bright and early this morning to celebrate the U.S. Army's 246th birthday. The Post hosted a 5K out near the Bartonfield Amphitheater. People of all ages paid tribute to the U.S. Army, and of course, with a birthday without some cake, they wrapped it all up with a big old slice of cake with a cake cutting. But yeah, they worked off all those calories before they ate that cake bright and early. Heads up, if you were driving on I-20 tonight, crews will close one lane right at the state line eastbound heading towards Columbia. It's part of the I-20 bridge replacement and widening project that's been going on in that area. The lane closure starts around 9 tonight, should last until 7 tomorrow morning. So keeping an eye out for those crews. Be ready to slow down once you hit the state line. Taking a look at Augusta University's new Math and Science building, today crews started delivering furniture and equipment, so they are getting ready to move in. So if you're driving in that area on Goss Lane, one of the lanes right near the parking deck might be closed. They are wrapping up deliveries about 5 each day, but they'll be back at it again 8 to 5 through July 2nd. So apparently they have quite a bit of furniture to move in, Riley.
And as far as the weather goes, we're expecting a mostly dry work week, but we do have the potential to see a few stray showers this evening. We'll give you an update with that coming up.
And students just making it through a difficult school year, how schools are working to prevent a summer slide when we come back.
Helping people 99.
Billions of taxpayer dollars are flowing into South Carolina public schools. Between the 3 COVID-19 recovery bills and other state and federal programs, more than $3 billion will keep coming into South Carolina over the next 3 years. The goal of all the money is to help schools and students after the pandemic, and it's the districts that will decide how the majority of that cash will be spent. State House reporter Adam Mincer talked to officials about how those funds can and will be used. So Adam, we're talking about a lot of money here. Is it enough?
According to one lawmaker in the room, this is, quote, a once-in-a-generation opportunity to really revamp South Carolina public schools. You said it, $3.2 billion with a B. Just to put that number in comparison, when we talk about the state budget that lawmakers are debating also right now, we're talking about roughly $10 billion. So this is a lot of cash. And the goal is really to help students, schools, teachers, everybody recover after the pandemic as we move in to what people hope will be a more normal school year. So these funds can be used for a wide variety of uses, and districts have a lot of discretion, everything from technologies to different hiring practices, infrastructure, changing facilities. So a lot of different options. One thing, though, that's happening now is actually summer camps and summer learning. It's one thing that the superintendent is really passionate about.
This summer is going to be considerably different for us because we're going to hit a wider range of students, K-12. It's going to have not just learning loss initiatives and remediation, but also acceleration opportunities. Again, this is just a blanket statement, but several of them really did not do well in the virtual environment, and they need to be back in front of a teacher face-to-face for accountability purposes and just for that guided instruction that is just more positive for them.
Now, these camps aren't all about learning. Some are like STEM camps for girls. Some are to help people transition, these students transition from 5th to 6th grade, those big years for so many students. Now, I also asked about the summer slide. Students having some learning loss, forgetting things they lost in the year before during the summer. And I said, can we expect that, like so many other things, to be worse this summer? Well, the superintendent said probably not, actually, because this is the last day for Kershaw County schools, and they get back in just 8 to 10 weeks from now. So it's a pretty short summer. So if students go to these camps, get some engagement, he doesn't think any learning will be lost in these next few weeks. Reporting live from the South Carolina State House, Adam Mincer on your side.
Such a tough year to follow, Adam. Thank you. And the superintendent's advice, if you're worried about your child slipping this summer, make sure they keep reading anything they can get their hands on. If they're too young to read with them. Okay, outside it is a muggy day. We do see some clouds out there, giving us a little relief, but not much, Riley. It is sticky out over the medical district.
It really is, Lauren. It's been mostly dry for us today. We are keeping an eye on a few showers and storms just off towards our north and towards our west, and actually a fairly intense storm found just westbound down I-20 before you hit Atlanta. Portions of Gwinnett County seeing a very strong cell moving its way through, producing over 70 strikes of lightning within the last 15 minutes inside that red polygon you see right there. For us, north of us, Washington, McCormick, Lincolnton, these storms that we were tracking north of 85, as they continue to drop south, they're really not holding together all too well. Not to say that we could continue to see more showers and storms develop as this front does drop south, but overall just expecting it to be very hit or miss, not guaranteeing rain for everybody as these storms continue through over the next several hours. Here's our setup, area view wide. We do have tropical depression number 2 now off the Carolina coast that formed earlier this morning, and this front is going to gradually drop south of us by tomorrow afternoon and finally bring us some relief from the humidity. It's been extremely muggy the past several days. As this cold front drops south of us by tomorrow afternoon, we do start to notice much drier air move over the region, so that's going to make it feel a lot better for us. That's going to lower our rain chances as well, and also bring us some cooler mornings. So we are going to shift our pattern a little bit over the next several days. For the first part of your Tuesday, still expect to be a little bit humid, but by the afternoon we should start to notice much drier air moving in. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday looking very comfortable on our muggy meter here before we do start to bump those up again by this weekend. Now our futurecast here, I think it may be overdoing what those storms are expected to do later this evening, but just keep in mind there could be a few hit and miss showers and storms over the next several hours up until around an hour after sunset. By midnight, we're completely dry and should see mostly clear skies waking up early Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, that front's going to be finally trying to drop south of us. So south of I-20 tomorrow afternoon, can't allow a few isolated showers, but not expecting it to be too widespread. And then Wednesday morning, we definitely start to notice a cooler start, waking up in the mid to upper 60s. Some places in the far reaches of the northern CS area could get close to the 50s, waking up Wednesday and Thursday. We are expecting dry conditions Wednesday and Thursday as well, with much more seasonal high temperatures. They're expecting to stay close to 90 Wednesday and Thursday afternoon. Looking over Grovetown, you can see a lot of blue sky there. We don't have much rain around us here in Augusta, and expecting to stay dry for the next couple of hours if you need to be out and about. But it is hot and humid, folks. The heat index is up to 99 degrees. Luckily, that humidity will be going down for us as we head towards the middle of the week. Wednesday, Thursday should be beautiful for us. Low humidity, seasonal highs, and those cooler mornings, waking up in the middle of 60s Wednesday, Thursday.
Keep Aiken County Beautiful is celebrating 2 years as a Keep America Beautiful affiliate this week, and they're hosting some events to celebrate that and to help out the community. Today they planted a butterfly garden for the Brothers and Sisters of Aiken County, which is a nonprofit that supports local kids and teens. They say the garden is just the start. Kids will use this garden to learn about plants, pollinators, recycling, and taking care of the environment. Plus, the garden becomes one more beautiful spot in Aiken County.
That's part of the goal, is to beautify sections of Aiken County so that people will take pride in where they live and not trash it up.
The celebration continues tomorrow. In the morning, they're hosting a workshop for kindergarten through 11th grade teachers. It's all about stopping litter bugs in their tracks and some cool hands-on programs to teach kids about that. It's from 10 to 12 at the Government Center, and in the evening, they're hosting a community conversation about litter at 5:30. If you have any old vinyl records lying around, you could be sitting on a fortune. Coming up, an app to help you find out what your collection's worth.
Just a short drive down 25.
Vinyl records really making a comeback these days. New fans and classic music lovers buying almost 28 million records last year. So if you buy or you sell or collect vinyl records, Jamie Tucker has found a must-have app for you.
No one can deny that music on vinyl sounds better than streaming it on a computer. Audiophiles and collectors are flocking to this app, Discogs. Here you can search for, purchase, sell, and inventory vinyl records, 8-tracks, and cassettes, music you won't easily find anywhere else. Let's search for an obscure yet classic album from the 70s, Pilots, from the album of the same name. Remember this one? In Discogs, you'll find record stores and collectors from all over the world selling copies of this record. This seller lists other albums for sale. You can shop, purchase, make an offer. The store will ship it to your address. If you've got a collection or run across a record at a yard sale, just search for it and you'll see what it's selling for. A great way to put a value on records you own. If you have a big collection, take inventory, and Discogs will show you its approximate value. And Discogs is a totally free app for iPhones and Android devices. If you love vinyl, if you're nostalgic, if you want to just get back into it, Discogs is something you should have in your collection. I'm Jamie Tucker, and Discogs is the app of the day.
Breaking news to pass along, we are learning at least one person is dead after a Richmond County crash earlier this afternoon. Officials tell us the accident happened between a car and a semi over on Sandbar Ferry Road at Laney Walker Extension. Lanes were shut down, but they are all back open now. The coroner not releasing the names of any victims right now, but again, we do know at least one fatality in that crash earlier today on Sandbar Ferry Road. Westminster holding their second Gen Cyber Camp this week. 35th through 8th grade teachers from across our area are there. They're getting hands-on training, learning about cybersecurity and the careers that come with it. All this is being made possible through a grant from the National Science Foundation.
By me gathering the information here, I wanted to go back and share it with them and with my other coworkers so that we can get our kids on this track because it's a booming field, as we've heard.
Absolutely, it is. Great jobs out there. And the camp wraps up Friday, and afterwards, teachers will be awarded a $600 check, a Chromebook, as well as 40 hours of training in cybersecurity. So not a bad way to spend a week there to get our kids excited about cyber. How muggy is it going to be the rest of the week, Riley?
It's actually looking much better for us, Laura. We are expecting a drop in that humidity for the rest of the week, but we are keeping an eye on the tropics as well. We'll give you an update in the Gulf of Mexico coming up.
Shanty can fix your...
Well, we told you about the new safety markers on the North Augusta Greenway, but that's not the only new sight out there. You might see some new faces out there as well. These yarn characters are scattered all along the path close to the rec center, and you see some little yarn faces, but better watch out for them if you're running and not expecting one of those things. It can scare the mess out of you, but they might motivate you to run if you aren't a scaredy cat, or it could be a fun scavenger hunt for you and the family. I know the kids would like seeing those, so keep an eye out. Otherwise, you might run across one of these in the dark, Riley, and forget what it was that you were doing.
There you go. Puts a little extra pep in your step.
Yeah.
But pretty cool stuff there on the Greenway. All right, a quick update on the tropics. We are keeping an eye on a disorganized area of thunderstorms near the Bay of Campeche in the Gulf of Mexico. This is expected to gradually drift a little bit further north over the next 2 to 5 days. It actually has a high chance of becoming a named system and potentially could form into our next tropical depression, maybe even storm that would impact the Gulf Coast later this weekend into early next week. So something for us to watch very closely. We also have tropical depression number 2 just off the coast of the Carolinas. No issue for us racing off towards the northeast. Our pattern looks much drier the next few days and a lot less humid too.
Silicon health experts are calling the opioid crisis an epidemic. How